Are you on a forklift?
Yeah, I am.
You are a son of a bitch.
Un saluto a tutti.
Buongiorno Bianconeri, welcome back to the channel. And yeah, what a game to cover. European nights, those European nights continue. 1-1 draw between Juve and Nantes. Anthony, stop.
Shut up.
Draw. Stop
Shut
it.
up.
All right.
Shut up.
So as you can see, we got a full panel. We got Lucci, we got Luca, and we got Anthony, and we're going to tackle this one, go through all the highlights. And of course, no shortage of things to discuss. And again, another tight game for Juve ends with some more controversy. So since we added Arbitro Nick to the fold, all of a sudden now it's just a controversy over and over. And I know what you're going to say, and it's bullshit. So we're going to get to that call on the
No, he's coming
whoa,
around.
Whoa, you don't know anything.
I can
He's
see
coming
the
around.
face you're making, and I
No.
already know, and we're going to get into it big time on that PK call. I can already feel it, okay? I'm on edge today, and I'm telling you, okay? Not feeling 100%, and I'm ready to snap. I'm so sick and tired of this team and this Europe
Look
shit.
at Lucci. Just
But we're going to get to it. We're going to cover it all. Housekeeping out of the way. If you're listening to this on your audio outlets, get over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, right? Everybody that's in here right now, like the video. Let's go. Let's see what everybody's feeling in the chat there. Jeremiah, hey guys, Nantes is piss poor, and we still can't beat them. We are the only top club in Europe that does not have a defined system or style of play. This is due to Max and his coaching. Shambolic. Great start to the show here. I love it, but I don't necessarily disagree. So Bob Yogasal, ciao AJC. Thank you. Ciao guys from Vincenzo. Ciao Juventini of the world from Apex. Mike Razzo said ciao AJC and Juventini. This tie feels like a loss. We played well throughout the match. We're going to get to that. And couldn't capitalize. We need to be better. The ref also goofed the match between no yellows and no pen. We're going to hear what referee Nick has to say. Shame on us. This is the message I feel, because it always comes down to us. But it doesn't make what went down right. So everybody, let's get in here. Ramo's coming in here. Penalty 100%. We're going to get to it. Guys, real quick, we're going to start off with the lineup. So we actually were surprised at what we ended up getting, because just when you think you got Max figured out, 4-3-3, because we got DeCilio on one side, Sandro on the other, Danilo, Bremer. You got your three midfielders, Bajoli, Paredes, Rabiot, and then, of course, the trident up top. I was surprised. I would have expected a 3-5-2. People were saying this was a 3-5-2 and played out as a 3-5-2. Don't think so. Definitely not in the first half. You could clearly see the shape. Some were saying, oh, it's a 4-2-3-1. Way too much interchange in the midfield. But besides that, guys, what do you think about that lineup? I was surprised, and I thought ballsy of Max to do it without ever trying it before. But my concern would have been Sandro, and I thought he did okay. So what do you guys think on that lineup?
Lucci. I was surprised at the beginning, to be honest, but no really surprises in the actual 11 that started. The names that were there were pretty much a given, but the way we lined up was definitely something I was not expecting. Again, people are mad Paredes started. What do we expect? Luca's going to play 50, start 50 games. Like, it is what it is. We're going to have to get some kind of shift in there. So we started well. The lineup was fine. Then it just kind of drifted away from that.
Can I just jump in with the baseball tee? I have one of those. Those some bitches are nice.
They are sweet. They are very sweet.
Striped Hearts apparel baseball tees. Beautiful.
Yeah. It's better when you get it that's not a schmedium like Lucci put on there so that he looks bigger, but still nice nonetheless.
He's making up words now.
Luca on the lineups?
Honestly, I think Lou kind of went after me there in our personal chat saying, oh, I told you the 4-3-3 was coming. I think we've all been shouting for it on the pod, except maybe Anthony. But I just didn't expect it to come first time in a European night like this. So it's a pleasant surprise. I still think Paredes should have been way back in Paris still. But besides that, I mean, hey, Max went for it. In terms of that selection, I couldn't be mad. Like, we wanted it, we got it. That's it.
Yeah. And
no issues. Based on who was available, roll it out.
Yep.
And that's pretty much sums it up. Guys, let's get to the highlights here. We got to talk about this, and then we'll talk about first half, second half approach and everything. Again, we've got shouts in the chat of that was 3-5-2. I don't think so. But again, I saw it as a 4-3-3 and Di Maria just essentially having complete freedom. But
he has hair. Hold on.
Two is Canadian Max Allegri. Omer coming in with the bomb.
Omer
I love
looks
it.
the most like Max.
So
heated.
we get this thing started. Second minute in, Di Maria finds himself just outside the area to the right side, takes a rip, rather close to Lafont there, but still parries the way. Promising start anyways. Good ball movement, good tempo. 12th minute, man, here's Di Maria dropping down again. As he gets that complete freedom roll. Fagioli was often running beyond him just to keep those defenders honest, pushing them back so that Di Maria could come down low and then operate. He puts this thing on a friggin' dime. Beautiful ball in. Chiesa well on side, runs onto it, heads it to Vlahovic. There you go. 1-0 up. Perfect start.
We're rolling.
Keep it rolling. Beautiful goal. One of the nicest goals this year. Easily one of the nicest goals this year, and that's what we need these guys to do. Keep it going. Great start. 27th minute, Di Maria maybe could have carried it forward, waited for some more options. He decides to have a rip from well out. He does force a stop from Lafont, rebounds it, but beyond Vlahovic's reach, he has to go out and battle for it out the side. But still, good stuff from us. 30th minute. A nice ball in from Sandro trying to find Vlahovic, and Girotto actually tries to clear this and almost gets it wrong to the point where it goes over Lafont, but he is able to parry that away. 45th minute, we kind of stop there with Paredes' free kick that he tries to whip in towards goal very hard, and Lafont just parries that away, and we kind of end there at the half. I thought it was a good half, but if I'm being honest, a little bit too far between opportunities, and we still allowed Nantes to relieve themselves of pressure a little too easy in my opinion. But those are my only two criticisms of otherwise what I thought was a pretty strong half from Juve. What were you guys' takes on the first half?
Luca?
Honestly, it was one of the most impressive halves I've seen in some time, and I feel like I've been saying that in the last 3 games quite a lot. The movement was good. We held the ball well. I actually liked seeing Di Maria come more central. He was creating a lot more than, let's say, any other of our mids. What I didn't like, and this is where maybe some of the people in the chat are going to say it wasn't a 4-3-3. I saw Chiesa way too far back defensively when we didn't have the ball, which Max likes to do. He likes having a majority of players behind the ball when we are defending. But first half was good. I think we should at least gotten a second because I definitely saw it starting to slow down in the last 5 minutes. I saw the other team starting to, take advantage of the mistakes we were making and not being certain going forward. It didn't amount to anything, which is good. Defensively, it looked fine, but I did put out at halftime saying if we don't score a second before the next, let's say, 10 minutes, subs have to come in right away because it was starting to look like these guys were the other team was starting to understand what we were doing. That's what I felt by the end of the half.
In terms of Chiesa, yeah, he came back, but I think that was more when Sandro was all over the place. He was going centrally quite a bit, and we had a lot of interchange in the mids. But when he had to drop back to pick up that ball, I saw Chiesa do it. But defensively, he definitely wasn't set up like your typical Kostic is usually playing that side. Chiesa was very much forward, and there was a lot of sequences where Vlahovic would drop back, play the ball back to one of our defenders or midfielders, whoever fed him that, and Chiesa would make that run beyond him. We just, unfortunately, never latched onto that play and hit Chiesa over the top. But it was there. Definitely was there. Just, it's a little bit different. Maybe a mix between the two. Ant, your thoughts on that first half?
Got the job done. You want to go into the half up by more than a goal, want to be up leading. That's it. And we did that. Nantes did not threaten at all. They were not threatening in the least. They stink. Let's not beat around the bush here.
At halftime, they stunk.
No, they stink. Well, I was shocked at how bad that team is.
If we can't beat them.
If they stink, we suck.
But what did we get into a big argument a few shows ago about it? Because I said we fell into that trap, and
You guys argue all
you
the time,
give
I
up
know.
the numbers about, oh, we haven't tied, we haven't drawn, all this crap. It only takes one. Whether a team is being
we'll get to that.
toothless or not, it only takes one.
It's
Let's get
halftime
to the
talk.
second half.
It's halftime.
We'll get to it.
Okay,
Oh,
so second half, 57th minute, we were getting a shout for a potential second yellow on Castelletto. Okay, so this was the challenge on Vlahovic as he's running at the defense there, and he slides in there, and there was a lot of shouts for a second yellow. Referee Nick is willing to weigh in on this one, and he says Vlahovic was making a run with the ball in the final attacking third. He was then fouled from behind by Castelletto. Based on the tackle and the yellow cards that were shown in the game, it is supportable for the referee to refrain from showing a yellow card to Castelletto for a reckless challenge. He continues, an argument can be made that Castelletto stopped a promising attack. The same considerations are open space for the attacker. That's something they consider. In this case, was not much. Options to pass the ball. He definitely had one, potentially two. And then the location of the defenders. Those are the three things they consider in that scenario. Now, Vlahovic seemed to be closed down and surrounded by three defenders because he didn't have much space to work with, and there were more defenders than attackers. Giving the player a second yellow card for stopping a promising attack would have been a bit harsh. So the decision to not send off Castelletto there is actually supportable. That's from referee Nick. Hey, take it or leave it, everybody. But I will admit, watching it live on the feed there, I was like, that's got to be a yellow. And I don't know. Watching it the second time after the emotions out of the game.
I want to know, Al, this was like the play right after Bremer basically manhandled their striker. And
That's right.
I'm surprised he didn't get a yellow for that. Like, I'll just say it straight. To me, that was
and all
just
that
absurd.
kind of ties in with what he's saying based on what else was going on in the game and the other cards shown. So,
And then the striker got a yellow.
59th minute.
Yeah, he lost it.
Couple minutes after this. An absolute calamity of errors. This was unbelievable. Okay. Fagioli, love the kid. Easy option to his right. Carries it into some trouble because there's no clear options to that side. Goes to his left, tries to play a pass to Paredes. It's cut out. Paredes is unable to run next to an opponent, and he always wants to slide challenge. He takes that chance rather than just catch up to the guy, slow him down, run him down.
Just take the foul, man.
Honestly,
of all
people,
shut it down. You're so high up. Anyways,
that was annoying.
He doesn't. Okay, and the play continues. Now you have three defenders. You have Sandro, Bremer, and Danilo back there. Sandro is frozen because he's watching the ball carrier come up.
Was there a foul on Chiesa?
Too soft.
I don't know.
Okay,
I think it was soft. It should not have been a foul.
People
No.
mentioned that.
Yeah, there was a little shove in the area there, but
he was
too
crying.
Soft,
but
too
let's
soft.
be honest.
On we go. Sorry, on we go.
Yeah.
So now Sandro's watching the ball carrier moving forward. Danilo is following the run beyond Sandro. The pass goes to that player. Danilo allows too much space. Even there would have been a potential to take a foul just to slow things up. He does not. That player's allowed to turn and just make that touch pass. And Bremer hits the only banana peel on the pitch. He slips up, and that gives Blas the opportunity to get beyond, and he finishes, and it's 1-1. That was a calamity of errors. And I will say this.
Great counter,
the people that are – I didn't share this frustration with a lot of fans, and that was that we shut off in this game. I don't think we shut off in this game. And the only time we got stung was the time that we were all pressed forward because we made piss-poor decisions. And it happened all over, and they hit us on one counter. But I don't think we necessarily shut off. I think our issue is execution, and this team still does not know how to generate enough chances. Those two main issues. And the third is that we suck at sustaining pressure. When teams are hurting, when we do come at them with a good chance, it's way too easy that we just let them relieve the pressure themselves rather than continuing to go after it. But then again, the one time we do try to pin them and try to go at them, you've got 7 shit decisions in a row and it's in the back of your net. What are
I
we
would put a
talking
fourth in
about
there.
here?
I'd
I
put a
don't-
fourth in there. Our passing was
It was brutal all
And that's-
game.
unbelievable yesterday.
All
At
game,
first
that
half, it was
passing
good.
was a
First half, it
nightmare.
was okay. But
Okay,
second
the
half?
second half passing, it was
Yeah.
Everything in the second half just fell off.
Mhm.
Everything.
Yeah. The passing was not
I
good.
do want to note on that goal, and this to me is where like I went and rewatched it. It just drives me nuts. There is a mile gap between the top of the box where like 8 of our players are and our 3 defenders in the back. Why are they not high pressing? If there's one striker alone back there, leave one guy. The rest of you should cover that empty space. Because once that counter comes, the guy had time to place it on a platter. And okay, yeah, we have a guy who slips, but I mean, he should not be able to get to that. Fagioli and Paredes are way too high up with too much space behind them. Like
They shouldn't even cross half.
that was just terrible. I know, but
Take a
still,
foul.
as the
taking that guy
professional
out.
defenders,
Every
these are
time
guys-
he's coming at me, I'm taking him out. It's simple.
Every time.
But it's so unorganized because if you look when Fagioli makes that turn and he's facing our left side of the pitch,
right?
everybody is in the area. Everybody's in the area
Everybody.
based on
He's
the
the last
sequence
man.
leading up to that.
Yeah.
So again, I say you've got an easy option to the right. That player can have a cross in as you've got the box loaded. To turn in there, you have no options. You're turning and then you're facing it. You have no options. But he did it all game. He did a good job of twisting and turning, buying himself time. I can't for the life of me understand why he thought at that moment, I'm going to pass it to Paredes, who's absolutely got no shot with this
he
guy
sucks.
all over him. It blows me away. And that's just one of like 20
Can't
to
pin
30
it on
passes
the kid.
where
Yeah,
we
you're
were
right.
brutal.
No, it's a mistake, but he's
Vlahovic
mad at
can't hit a
himself.
weighted pass to save his life in that game yesterday. Okay.
Terrible.
Locatelli made errors on passes forward. Quadrado, when he came in, had
Quadrado.
blunder.
Oh,
We're
It's
gonna
all
get
over
to
the
that.
place. Like these guys cannot hit a weighted pass to save their life.
Duzan
It was
missed, like,
shocking. And
4
again,
at
we
one
crumble
point.
in the final third. Anyways, 1-1. They
Yeah.
tied on this.
We move on.
61st minute. Okay, this is 2 minutes later. We flip the side of play. Fagioli, I think, pops it up. Sandro heads it on into Rabiot's path. Rabiot does a great job, okay? He chests this thing down, turns 2 men, and slips it forward for Vlahovic. Vlahovic, he's doing good. He just waits long enough so that defender can kind of just be frozen, then puts it in Chiesa's path. There were shouts why he didn't feed it across to Di Maria, who was running down. But if you watch that play, okay, for anybody who might have thought, why didn't he play that over there? At the moment that defender was coming in, that lane wasn't even there to hit Di Maria. The only time he would have had the option to try and make that pass, it would have been far too late. So he had to make a decision before that.
I think that was
he would have
fun.
missed Chiesa if he waited any longer. He gave it to Chiesa, and let's be honest,
That's still okay.
whether he picks Di Maria or he picks Chiesa, Vlahovic just has to hit one of those two, and that's got to go in the back of the net.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, hey, it's Juve and it's Europe, so you get crossbar post and out, and right back into the keeper's hands, might I add. There you go. There you go. I saw shouts of why didn't Di Maria sell out when that thing, dude, that thing was bouncing around. It had so much heat. I don't
He
think
ripped
anybody
that
could
thing.
read that trajectory
Holy
off the crossbar post, and then it's just unfortunate.
The
Anyways,
goalkeeper got hands to that, right?
incredible. I think it took a
It was
deflection off the
yeah,
defender
that's it.
as
Yeah,
he stretched out, and then it went beyond.
because he had it on
keeper, but
net shot wise.
Gotta go in. 65th minute. Okay, 4 minutes later, and you have almost an Olympico from Di Maria on the corner kick, and that hits the bar.
man.
Comes out. Again, we're sticking to that as a crossbar, but that's a low percentage opportunity, is what it is. 71st minute, Mutasami for Nantes gets an opportunity from range, and he actually doesn't miss by much. Chesney looked a little nervous about that one. Goes wide. 90th minute. For the life of me, Danilo, you've got to hit the target with that opportunity. I know
The
it's
side
difficult.
volley?
I know it's
Yeah, that was
coming
that's
over
a
your
tough-
head, and you're trying to turn onto it.
Tough execution.
You got to maybe take a little heat off that, and you just got to make sure you hit some type of goal. But it's hard because you're asking a defender to try and know
Send it back.
exactly where that target is, because the play
Go
would have
right
been
back.
to try and put it towards your teammates, also back post. That way, if it goes in or if the goalie does get a tip to it, it goes towards your players. But that's a tough ask of a defender.
I'll say
Pisses
Yes,
me
but
off
too.
nonetheless, though, everybody.
yeah, if it's any defender, I'm glad it's Danilo, but it is still like really tough to nail that. And he did get good contact. It just
Yeah.
Sandro would have scored it.
Shut up.
Sandro would have broke his hip.
Now, 90th plus 5. This is the moment, obviously. Quadrado beats his man, bombs this thing to the back post, and Bremer and Locatelli are both up there. And Bremer, originally, it looks like it just goes wide. Locatelli picks up a water bottle, spikes it. He's choked. He's got a good angle on
so
it. He's
mad.
losing it. Bremer's telling him, chill out. And I honestly... you can't fault a guy for going at it. Bremer's got a good line on it too. Of course,
Yeah.
they're both going to go, and that
But
happens
that's
all the time. Happens
And
all
Bremer
the
was
time.
about this much higher than Locatelli on that one.
but
so.
that extra foot back, the ball would
I
have been
think
lower.
it's the angle
True.
Loca had though, based on the trajectory.
Yeah.
Like he's coming
They
right
both
at
could
it
have put it
towards
away.
goal. Bremer's coming straight. Still, nonetheless, I'm not going to fault Bremer for it whatsoever. And
Because he didn't miss,
Locatelli, I'm
technically.
sure, would have calmed down after the fact. But the handball. So here comes Arbitro Nick, because clear handball, of course. But they called the push on Bremer, and this is where it gets interesting. Okay,
Here we
so
go.
obviously, Arbitro Nick, he's coming in here saying, breaking this down 2 pieces. Handball, 100% handball, because anytime your arm is above the shoulder, it is automatic handball. And
has to
that's
be.
it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The decision to call a foul on Bremer, this is where it gets interesting, because he says, in theory, it could be deemed correct. He says you do see Bremer's hands go on the defender's back or shoulders. However, it isn't really clear or obvious whether or not he committed a holding offense or a pushing offense. A lot of refereeing is making the call that is expected and within the spirit of the game. And this in itself is also very subjective too. So comparing both isolated incidents that happen almost simultaneously, you have a clear-cut handball with no room for debate, but then you have a call that is not clear and obvious that is overruling this key match incident. So what ends up happening is that when you look at the play from all angles, the hold was not clear from Bremer and to Nick. The defender had plenty of room to jump. Bremer simply made incidental contact as a result of jumping higher and beating him to the point of contact. I think everyone, including our opponents, were in shock from this call. Usually, to overturn a call, you need to prove the call was clear and obvious error and make sure there is no other compelling evidence against the potential decision. I could maybe understand that the referee felt, since there was a potential foul, he could not give a penalty kick to overturn it because he wasn't 100% sure. But in Nick's words there, he would have called it. And in the spirit of the game, the expected call would be a PK. 9 times out of 10, Nick agrees with Del Piero's words there. 9.5, 9 times out of 10, that is a PK. We're now going to get our thoughts on that and how we feel
Lucci's
about that
ready.
one. Ant, why don't you start us off on this?
I was gonna get you want me? Okay, so when I first saw it, I was like, that to me, that was the right call. No PK when I first saw it. And our group chat exploded, like, the obvious names that happened. Luca was leading that way.
Yeah.
Looking at it again at the same angles that the ref looked at it. And I was always a big proponent of looking at a play. You have to look at it at game speed. And we look at a game speed, it's a bang, bang play. And I agree with what Nick said there after looking at it again. Bremer just beat him to the point. He just beat him there. So that's the advantage to the striker in this point. But it's a bad call, man.
Yeah.
At first I was like, no, but then when you look at it, it's like, oh man, that is such a bad call that it's I can see why a lot of people are frustrated, but not surprised. It happens
Lucci,
to us all the time.
anything to add on the PK?
How is that not a PK? The thing is, as soon as the commentators, when I was watching, said, look at the push, I knew they weren't going to call it. I wasn't surprised at all.
Idiot.
You just knew it was coming.
Idiot.
And to Ant's point, I understand. Like at first view, you see, okay, you maybe see a push, but how can you tell how much force Bremer has on the defender to stop him from jumping? His hands up here, anyways. It has no like that has
Thank
nothing
you,
to do
Alex.
with Bremer being on the guy,
So-
jumping above him.
The interesting thing when you look at this is there was the two angles, right? So you
Yeah.
have the one that's on the goal line,
Hold on.
and then you have the other side. So the other side is probably the one that had him making his mind up, because you do see the arm go down, but it's also while that player starts to drop, who, might I add, is beaten to the point of contact,
By
like
two players. Not one,
clear,
by two.
clear cut,
Clear
beaten.
as day.
And to me, number one, you're never going to jump up like this. Okay. These guys are not penguins. All right. You're going to get your goddamn arms up naturally. So naturally, his arms go there. Just the fact that his hands are on his shoulders does not make this thing a call. And this is what's argued with me on Twitter yesterday, is that show me a header, because my argument is if you're going to call that, we might as well take corners and set
Yep.
pieces out of the game completely,
Right up.
because that is a natural jostle. At the end of the day, if a player is beaten to the point of contact, we can't be bailing them out with shit like this. So I was basically argued with and said, show me a header where a player's got two hands on another player. I said, well, number one, I've got family, I've got kids and stuff, so I'm not going to sit here and look at video, but sure, I'll take a look and I'll find you one. You know what? You don't have to look very hard to find them, because they're out there. You look at just Serie A highlights and watch his goals. Those hands naturally go there, unless it is a clear cut. Okay, for me, it's got to be a clear cut offense that you stop the defender from being able to actually get in there. That didn't stop him from getting there. Okay, he had an awful angle. He was out of position. He looked like he was trying to back in and then go up. He was done. He was dead to rights. He was beaten to the point of contact. And if you look at some other goals, Ronaldo, that was used as this is how you cleanly make a header. Bullshit, because he's gone through the backs of players with his forearm like this, going through up into their necks, but he's beating them to the point of contact. So for me, that doesn't matter either. And those are worse than what we see Bremer do yesterday. This is a bullshit non-call.
So you'll see those get called like on like a goal kick or a clearance, like when a defender jumps behind a striker. Sometimes you get those calls at midfield. But to your point out, you never ever see those in the box get called that way.
The only
But
time
I
those
think
are called,
I think what happened here is the ref chickened out. He didn't want to make a big
It's a big
decision
call,
that
yeah.
could affect the outcome of the game. And he took the easy way out. He's like, this game in his mind was a 1-1. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna get into conspiracies or anything, or he was paid by UEFA, but all that shit. All I'm gonna say is that he chickened out. He didn't want to make a big call. Bremer gave him a window.
Roles reversed. Is that a penalty? Does he call it?
You mean if that's in our box?
If the teams were reversed, if that was Juve,
I just think this guy was
an idiot.
I think it was. I think it would have been called. I think it would have been called.
So you think this is a Juve screw job?
100%.
It always is.
Do you want to put the tinfoil hat on now?
Sure.
It's
in the
there
closet.
somewhere.
In the
Can I
closet.
can I bring up two things?
I love it. I love it.
Go
I
ahead,
wouldn't be
Luca.
surprised. I mean, look, for me,
No, never
again,
mind.
you've got guys waiting, and it's not just like Arbitro Nick here. Christine, uncle there from Paramount Plus, she said the same thing. Like, to me, I can't support that not being a handball. And again, for me, if you completely stop a defender from being able to defend that, like you're pushing him away, okay, and it's clear cut, not just resting your hands, getting up. I can't support that. I'm sorry. That is garbage. That is garbage. And if the roles were reversed, I would expect us to suffer a PK against us if it was us on the flip side. So
Okay, now I have something to add out, because now this is where my point is coming. We've seen Chiellini do this, and I've seen, as a defender, I've seen this happen many times. If you go back and look at the slow motion and you look at their defender, the way he's jumping, he's not jumping at a vertical. He's falling backwards because he's late. He's out of position, and he falls with his arm up because he knows, and I've seen Chiellini do this, you know you're not making that header. So you're doing whatever it takes to get to that ball and make it look like you got fouled.
Yeah.
I've seen Chiellini get called for it, and I've seen him get fouled for it. And I also seen him get yellows for it because it looks terrible in slow motion. And
Now
this
is
is
the
what
latest one.
that's the deciding factor for me. In real time, Anthony said it. It didn't look. It might have looked like a foul, but none of us were saying, "Oh, that's a clear foul." No, we had to see it in slow mo. But then, if you're gonna
The-
go look at it slow mo, look at everybody's positions.
The most
player is
frustrating
beaten.
part about this is that it's the 13th place team in fucking Liga, and we are talking about this
now we're-
PK.
100%.
We should have been up
Because
3-0
at the end of the day, wrong call or not,
Mhm.
we gotta get
We
the
still stink,
goddamn
but,
job
I mean-
done at
Mhm.
home to Nantes. Like,
Mhm.
what are we even talking about?
What are we talking about?
Well, look, if we're gonna just keep getting everything called against us, then I mean, might as well not just be playing in Europe. It's every season there's something. I feel like every season we're in Europe, there's one blatantly bad
Now-
call.
Luca
But
needs
this
a tinfoil hat
this
too.
game was set up for a 3-0 victory, okay? I don't want anyone talking about lineup, talking about setups, talking about anything. Like, Nantes did nothing. Nothing.
Zero.
And the only reason
One.
they found
They
that
scored one
goal
goal, I
was
mean.
our own blunders, okay?
Mhm.
What did I say going into this? What was my last exact words in the
Easy,
match
Tony.
day live? I said, today is Juve against Juve, not
Mhm.
Juve against Nantes, because we are our own worst enemy. And that's exactly what that game played out like. This team continues to not know how to find goals, and it's killing us. It's killing us. It is killing us. It's Juve against Juve. And now like Europe is becoming this big thing where now it's not even Champions League. Now all of a sudden it's like Europa League, and we're afraid of Nantes, for Christ's sake. Like, everybody's on max. Everybody is on max. And we'll get to max and whatnot. But for me, the players, they have got to step it up. How many times, like, I'm sorry, but Max doesn't go out there and
You're
isn't
not
the one
sorry.
laying a weighted pass, guys.
Mm-hmm.
There's Dusan Vlahovic. His second half
Would
was
he be able to?
awful. Okay, Dusan Vlahovic's second half from a point of view of trying to hold the ball, carry the ball, like
Terrible.
his decision making was poor. His passing was poor almost all game. He
More
barely hits
turnovers.
Chiesa on that 3-on-2, for Christ's sake, where he hits a post there. It's like, what are we doing here?
My only, and this, I'll say this, I said this before, my only judgment of Max was waiting on that sub. Like, Dusan was out of it for the whole second half. So, I mean, look, I don't think it would have changed the game if Keane came in, but that's the only place where we could look at Max and say, okay, maybe do this earlier. Because I said it, those subs should have came a little bit earlier, and it was right on that second goal, right after he put them on.
Yeah,
So
Keane comes in and does absolutely nothing else,
it's,
so it really
it's
doesn't
not necessarily just the Keane, it's the timing of those subs. Like, if you would have brought in Luca like a minute earlier, I think that goal doesn't happen. But
matter. Luca
then
came in
again,
right after they scored.
Guys,
because he knew it was too late.
if
That's
we're going
why.
to criticize Max,
That's
it
my
could
only
maybe
criticism.
be for the fact that there's no organization in the attack.
Yes,
but as far
we
as
know that.
execution goes, it was piss poor.
Mhm.
It was piss poor. We're missing passes these guys need to make. And
Yeah,
I will say this without naming names. There was a couple opportunities where if we could have actually got stuck in and dug in deep there in the area, we might have drawn a couple PKs. And we chose to hold up and just kind of do one of these and in the area. No, get stuck the fuck in. This is a Europa League first time you're playing at home. I'm not going to name names on the players because people might see it as some type of targeting. But
Just
to be
say
honest,
it.
it's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke. This team is weak mentally, and I don't see them coming out of it. They need a whole shakeup. To be honest, I'm calling it as it is. We can pick on Max all day, all night, whatever. But when Di Maria leaves the pitch for this team, they have no clue what to do.
Sad.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I got into it with somebody on Twitter. I guess if we want to get onto the Max topic now, a lot of people saying, "Oh, this was
Here we go.
this was
We tied,
expected.
guys.
This is Max. This happens all the time." We haven't given up a 1-0 lead since September, so that's just the fact of the matter.
It's not on
Max doesn't. Hang on. Max doesn't give up leads. He doesn't. Now, we do sit back. We sit back. We defend. I get it. This was not the same as going up 1-0 in other games and defending.
That's true.
I will
This
agree
was
with
not
that. I didn't feel
You
that.
did-
Everybody
yeah,
was
no.
saying, we dropped off after. No, we didn't.
We
will
weren't focused.
concede the point that we've gone up 1-0 before and we've gone into a defensive shell. I concede that, but one point is we don't give up 1-0 leads very often. September. 2, this was not the same as another game where we've gone up 1-0 against whoever, Salernitana, whoever you want to put in there, and we sat back. This game is for me 100% on the players. 100%.
Yes,
90%.
I agree.
It can't be.
No, there's no excuse. Like that team across the pitch.
We could have had easily 2 to 3.
You want
just
to know
in the first
where
half.
like this is a player on Max thing, and this is why I'm not giving. We all saw like the 9-year-old center back with the tape on his leg, right? We all saw.
He looked
that
like
guy.
me.
He looked older.
That's how I
than
look
him.
like when I play.
Older.
But bald,
This guy, we waited until the 80th minute to put Chiesa on him. Like, if that's me playing a Sunday league with my friends and I see this guy strapped up like he's ready for war, I'm putting the fastest young guy on him because there's no way he's stopping them. So where's the strategy? Like, why does no one think, oh, he looks slow. Let me put our fastest.
I mean, did you see him elbow MDS in the
Greatness,
Adam's
right?
apple?
It's Mattia. Who cares?
Yeah,
Like, he's a
that shit
fennel
hurts, man.
anyways.
Well, like, am I a big? Like, I feel like I'm talking sense. I feel like what I just said made sense.
I'm with you on this one, Ant. I never take your side for the Max debate, but this one I think we're all in agreement.
I definitely do not feel like this game was the standard where we just completely drop off. Again, we had sequences that were there. We had opportunities that were there, and these guys didn't execute. They didn't execute. And to be honest, like I said, there was so many instances. And when I watched this game back and watched it over, I was disgusted at how many times we just backed off challenges and a few in and around the area when we needed to get tough. Put your head down, give your fucking nuts a squeeze and get in there and take a hit, take a foul, maybe take some studs. We choose to hop back and do one of these and let them relieve pressure.
That was not good look. That was not a good look.
Yeah.
There was one. If I want to criticize Max on one thing, it's the Sule sub.
Oh,
this guy never plays.
Oh, fuck! Here we go.
Be realistic. This guy never plays.
Put?
But that's what I'm saying, Luca. Like, what do you expect this 19-year-old to come in to do with 15 minutes left when he never plays? How's he supposed to get into the game? I'm
going to stop you there. We put Illing against our last Champions League game for 10 minutes, and he was a difference maker.
Well, then put in Illing. That's exactly it. Put in Illing then. Like, I feel bad. My point being, I'm not blaming Sule. I just feel bad you're putting him in a really tough position at a young age to come in and make a big difference when the rest of the team around him is not performing.
And like, he came in for the guy who was the difference.
Exactly.
But what do you do? The guy who's making the difference is limping because he's 9 years old. You can only do so much.
Yeah, Di Maria was done, man.
He was done after the 60th.
He was fizzled at that point.
But the thing is, if you want to keep that shape, you put Illing there on the left to play left wing and Chiesa down the right if you want to keep Chiesa in. But Kostic comes in, he's playing more of a what was he playing? Left wing? But like again, the formation changed a bit when he came on.
What I didn't like was how Chiesa had to be the one to make up for Di Maria leaving, and he started dropping centrally when he needs to be the one pushing the line. And we need to try to find him up further ahead when he's got those 1v1 opportunities to take guys on. But
again, like not that Fagioli played overly great yesterday, but you can notice the difference in the midfield when he came off, when it came to passing, ball retention. And then you have Kostic somewhat playing in that similar position. It's just not the same. It's
to be honest,
you don't have that
guys,
midfielder.
This one, and sure, like I said, you can criticize Max, I think, for the terms of organization and how we still continue to not understand how we want to create as a unit. But the player's execution was piss poor in this one. Piss poor. Now, Max Allegri, is he hitting a boiling point? Because these interviews yesterday, he got pretty goddamn hot. And I don't think I've seen Max kind of lose himself in an interview like he did, and he just finally had enough. And
he's normally joking, or he'll be like jovial in that
because
situation.
He knows he didn't make a mistake this time. I think that's why.
I think maybe that's why. Is maybe this time it's just, what do you want? Because the team could have scored more goals, and they continue to hit him with this 1-goal Juve thing, and sooner or later, I mean, he's gonna flip. What do you want him to do? He's not gonna go out there and score the goals.
What I didn't like was his defense on that. He said, look at my stats. And someone brought it up on Twitter. His stats don't back him up at all. He hasn't had that. He's like, I've always had the best defense or the second or third best. No, you haven't had that since 2019.
On his return, yeah, it has not been
so
the
that's
case there. Anyways, but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know with these guys, and I don't know with Max. The rumors today are that without Champions League, that he will definitely be
100%
evaluated.
Gone.
And
You can't
I don't
afford
know.
to bring in more coaches, though, man. How much
It
money
won't
do
be-
we
but
waste on coaches?
So you're gonna keep paying him $9 million to do nothing?
Well, you're gonna pay him 18 to fire him?
No, if he doesn't make Champions League, we don't have to. His contract is not the same. We've had this conversation. I think Mirko brought it up too. He has that.
We don't know. We don't know. Hold on. We don't know if there is a criteria that gets Juve out of the contract
Yes.
just based on the European play. We still don't know that. That's
Thank you.
speculation
I thought it
by
got
everybody.
confirmed.
They speculate
Pipe
that
down, Luca.
if Europe is not
Take it
in
easy.
play, Champions League, that Juve could have an out on the contract. If Juve wanted to break the contract, also, it's not 18 million. It's apparently 60.
Jesus. Okay, forget
Yes.
that.
You
What the
can
hell
call me
signed
Aldo.
this thing? What
but,
lawyer looks at this and says this is a good idea?
I mean,
60.
Max's lawyer thought it was a great idea.
His wife
60
probably thought it was a
mil.
great
now,
idea.
here's the thing.
Ex-wife.
Again, I will stress this. Buckle up, everybody, and strap on those seatbelts because he ain't going anywhere until season's end. He's not. You don't have a sporting director. You don't have a management team. It makes zero sense to make a coaching change. Maybe, just maybe, you guys want to bring Montero up. Well, they can't stop goals from being scored to save their life at that Juve next gen thing. He's got them in the decent terms of standings of where they are, whatnot. But
He's got them scoring at least.
Jesus Christ, man! But he does have them
Okay.
scoring. So
Yeah. Well, only one thing I'll
Technically, okay, go ahead, Luca. Sorry,
quickly, because I think this comes up to what we've discussed so many times in the past. If it's not Max the problem, like yesterday wasn't, it's the quality of players, and I think it comes down to Juventus as a whole. There's a lot of guys that don't need to be there anymore. Like we got guys like at least half that lineup starting yesterday are gone in the summer. So for me, it's the quality of player again, which is the core issue before Max ever even came in. So I
and that's
think
not
that'll be a change come summer, hopefully. But I mean, damn.
I mean,
That's not getting addressed right now, and the coach isn't getting
No, you're
addressed
right.
right
but
now.
even
100%.
the players, how many players do you think we're, with all the things going on, how many players do you realistically think we're going to be able to bring in this summer? 2, 3, maybe max.
Well, it's not even about bringing in; it's about taking back the guys that we have out.
But you
there
also
already.
need to replace the guys you're getting rid of, dude.
We have enough
You
loans to do
can't
that.
just expect 19-year-olds to come up and
Yeah.
play.
We have
There-
at least 4 on loan that are not 17 to start with, but we should have enough. And whatever let's say, we're not broke.
We still don't have enough options up top. That's a whole other story. But sure,
4
Luca.
strikers, but okay.
buckle up, though. Buckle up. Look, we've been mismanaged for years.
Yeah.
Years.
Mhm.
It doesn't get cleaned up like that. I can't we just got to be patient
Well, thanks.
and
Omer.
ride this thing out because without a management team, without a sporting director, like right now it would be Max firing himself, guys. It's not
Yeah,
hard.
and
He'd do
something
it.
that you brought up, and I didn't think of this. I think it was Lou who brought up that said
Oh, boy.
any sporting director who comes in basically always essentially brings in their own manager,
Yeah,
right?
cleans
So
house.
Cleans
whatever
house.
the new sporting director is. So in that sense, there's a chance that Max will be gone this summer.
If
you
you're
know,
a gambling man,
he's
which
been-
you are, you're putting money on him leaving.
I am not
I'm not.
because I'm not because and I'll tell you why. Because all indication coming out now, like anyone, like Calvo was saying it, the players, everyone is behind Max. Now it doesn't seem like it's people just blowing smoke up a skirt to like kind of keep him pumped up.
I mean,
He's the one sort of keeping everyone together when this entire shitstorm is happening in the club. You
True.
can't deny that. He's the one who's sort of
True.
taking everything, right? He has to put the players out there.
No
He's got to
one's
deal with the
still at the
media.
offices,
It's
that's
a
why.
lot. And I think he's
But
doing
that
a lot of
doesn't
good things behind the
excuse the way they're playing on the field.
Hey,
it does
thank
not.
you.
It does not. But you and I don't make the decision on if he's going to be
I
the
wish
manager.
I
next
wish
year.
we did.
No, but once the SD comes in, there's a good chance he will. So
Yeah.
you look
A
at
lot
at his
of
contract.
how
do you
we
not
play
get rid
on
of
the
him?
field, though, is also these guys.
Yes.
Those
True.
guys need to man up, man, and they
we
ultimately
got
you
some
got to
real-
beat your you
We
got to
some
beat
flappers on the
your
team.
man on the pitch. Ultimately, you
Mhm.
got to do your job and you've got to beat the guy across from you. And I'm sorry, but more often than not, our guys do not. They do not.
There was a point where I saw Rabiot and Sandro trying to create off the left side, and I almost had a brain aneurysm because it was just backwards.
So I'm telling you this, as I said before, when it was earlier in the season and everybody had this faith, and we were hearing a lot of this from Max, that any team would struggle missing guys like Pogba, Chiesa, Di Maria, and whatnot.
I'm
Okay,
waiting for Pogba now.
well,
Don't worry,
you've
Pogba will be
got
back next
Di Maria, you've got Chiesa back, and there's still big signs that they're not mixing up. This is my same thought process on a coaching change. Okay. And I'm not saying that everybody knows where I stand as far as a coaching change. Way back when I thought there was an opportunity for us to pull the trigger this season. But again, money, finances, everything. That was before the investigations. Now with the investigations, no chance. Absolutely no chance. If he made it past that point in our first defeat to Monza, there's no way he's going anywhere now. We got to just come to terms with that. But my thing is with the coaches, that's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. And the reason I feel it's not a guarantee is because of looking at our roster. These guys make Sunday league fucking passes look challenging, for fuck's sakes. They have no confidence in the final third. They are scared. There was 5 instances in yesterday's game where I expected our guys to run through and drill that friggin' ball and just try and get a hit up. And you know what they did? They panicked, twinkle-toed, and looked for somebody to pass the ball off to. Their first instinct should have been, I'm going to drill this friggin' thing. Right. Like any other team you watch that's looking for goals. Yeah. We play scared. Now, if you want to make an argument that that is a reflection of the coach, you can make that argument. But for me, these guys got to want it and they got to get after it. And if that's coach, if that's whatever, we are speculating that, looking at it from the outside, looking in. But I have a serious doubt that with this particular roster, somebody else could come in here and have us higher than second or third in Serie A, and doing better than we did in Champions League, and maybe getting a win against Nantes. I honestly do. I honestly do. And Ant, you're muted.
We'd literally be in second place without the minus 15. Literally second place.
Yeah, yes. I have a hard time believing that another manager with this roster all of a sudden has us top of Serie A and qualified through the I don't see it with the players we have and the constant same errors.
You know what? I'm gonna disagree because yes, now in Serie A we'd be second, and I've always said this because Tony's the first one to yell, guys, we went 8 straight wins in Serie A. Yeah, we did, and we have the best defense in Serie A. Yeah, but in Champions League we had 1 win. Against Maccabi, guys, Champions League, the group stages were absolutely shit poor. Yep. And okay, maybe, we've gotten better since. I'll give you that because our 8-game run was nice. But what happened in Champions League is inexcusable. And we were lucky to get Europa League just because we conceded less at home. I want people to remember that. That was absolutely piss poor. So for me, that's on Max, 100%. The guys sucked, but Max is very accountable for that too because going into those games was... You can't excuse that. And now that we're here in Europa League, again, with proper, we only have maybe 1 or 2 major injuries, it's still the same. I'm not seeing it from Max. In Europe, he ain't it. Serie A, you could say what you want. Yes, second place. Europe, which we need, he's not doing it. That's the stats are right there. Like, I don't know what else you could say to that.
I see what you're both saying, but to kind of add on to Luca's point, like, where's the motivation coming from Max? What happened in that second half, like that first half? What did he say to these guys? Because they came out completely different than they did in the first half. So is he motivating them properly? Maybe a different coach does something different. Maybe they're more fired up for the second half. Like, my concern is obviously some of his system is very flawed. We know that, but he just doesn't seem like the motivational type of coach, which this young team and some of these players really need.
Yeah.
Do they really need it?
Guys.
Yes.
He's never been that raw guy.
Guys.
Problem.
I'm telling you, We lost this fucking game because we had a calamity of errors on one fucking opportunity for Nantes to hit
But
us.
it's not
man.
just this one game
100%.
out.
It's not. We're not talking about the one game. Yeah.
It's the whole season. Last
Yeah.
season too. We've seen them come out flat so many times in the second half, and it's bitten us in the butt a handful of times, if not even more. So what is being said in that halftime? What is he doing?
How many times this season?
But listen, here's okay, I get what you're saying, but you can only go on these recent games leading up to it. And Max again surprised everybody based on his lineup, his formation, and everything. They come out of the gate. The fact that they didn't score more than one goal in the first half is not on Max. That's on those guys.
Yeah.
This game was set up for them to win. In the second half, sure, we weren't as fired up and going there, but can you honestly motivate a guy like Paredes when you can't get him to run up next to a guy and just take a foul to shut things down? Is it on Max that between three defenders, they can't figure out to foul the next guy and shut the whole play down when they only got two forwards to deal with? Is it up to Max to tell Sandro to yell to Bremer, hey, you got left shoulder. Make sure you got that covered and don't jump on that banana. Like, there's fucking a ton of things here. Like, this is a different game. If this team can just fucking execute and see it through. And we could speculate all day about what he says in the dressing room, what's going on at training sessions, but it's only that. It's only speculation. All I'm saying is, in my personal opinion, I watch this team. It's not 100% to me that another manager comes in and does miles better than Max. That's all I'm saying.
But
based on this roster. That's all I'm saying.
It's a shit roster. Well, I'll say it. I think we can all agree to that. I mean
there's been a couple lineups this season that could be argued for the worst lineups Juve's ever played. Think about that for a second. Think about the fact that you're going to have some guys leaving in the summer, and based on the financials and whatnot, we might be replacing them with young guys or guys come back from loan that might not. Like, this is not going to get better quick. But I'm saying there's been a couple rosters this season, some lineups, some starting 11s that could be argued for the worst ever, guys.
Most were during the Champions League.
So we're talking about Champions League. We don't have the depth.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. Do I agree with how the approach is? No, I don't. But do I think another coach all of a sudden has us ripping in Champions League? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
I think it was too late anyways, because the time we could have changed, which was after that Monza loss, we were already out. No? So, I mean...
Yeah. Now, for everybody that wants to pick the Ten Hag changes for Man U and yes, you can find a lot of coaching changes that sparked things. You can also find a lot that fell flat on their faces.
Yeah. Like, United are not a...
There's evidence for everything.
Chelsea.
There's evidence for everything.
Fucking Chelsea.
At the end of the day, this is how I personally feel, and I'm going to leave this for you guys to discuss. We're going to start with Ant, but for me, at Juventus, the standard has to be higher for the players, because this is not fucking Salernitana. I don't want a coaching carousel, and these players need to be called out at some point as well, because enough is enough. When you're not showing the balls to get in there on opportunities that you need to fucking fight for that thing, especially in European play, I'm sorry, this is not Salernitana. I don't want us going through coaches next week, every week. At some point, these guys got to man up. Ant?
Yeah, a lot of changes coming this summer, hopefully, especially with all the investigations, everything coming up. And I look at possibly they could be getting rid of Max. I don't see it based on everything I'm hearing behind the scenes, but a lot of players are going to be going out. I think the management team may have an idea,
Omer,
of the type of players they want to bring in. Hopefully it's the players that Al's talking about. You know, they're going to pull up their nuts, I believe he used, and get into tackles.
Give your balls a tug.
Squeeze them fucking nuts. Final volley like Pirlo told Chiesa to do, and then lo and behold, we fucking won.
There you go.
That's a damn coach there.
We got to ride this wave to the summer, man.
We do.
Got to ride this summer.
Go, Daniel. Go.
You're right, Anth. You're 100% right. But to be somewhat realistic, I don't see it being a big change this summer. If these minus 15 points stand and another in whatever the hell happens, who the hell's going to want to come? How are you going to recruit players?
Great point.
and that's
maybe,
very
but
worrisome.
maybe, just maybe
Great
that's what we
point.
need, guys. Because how many look at the shit show management wise. Like until Cherubini came in, look at what we were like. Look at the quality of players we still have. I think a cleanup is freaking needed. We need a damn like apocalypse. We got to get it. First of all, we got to get Rugani,
Of
Sandro,
course,
and
Luca,
MDS
but-
out of this
but
club.
Yes,
How are
it's
they still
easier to
there?
get rid of the. Sure, you want to get rid of the players, but how are you going to replace them if no one wants to come here? If we're
Gotta starve.
barely hanging
I
on
gotta-
to CDA.
I gotta clarify this too, because people might be taking this the wrong way. I'm not saying by any means don't fire the coach or don't make a coaching change. I'm just saying there are clear and obvious shortcomings beyond the coach at Juventus.
Oh yeah,
Okay? And if you want to think back to the two coaches prior, think about this. Think about this, everybody.
Get over it. Think about
It's
this. Get
the
over it.
same guys you were complaining about
take it easy
then.
up there.
Okay? Same guys you were complaining about then that struggle in attack, that make bad decisions, that make a lot of errors. It's the same fucking guys.
Mm-hmm.
So to fire everything at max when it comes to roster,
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
sorry. I'm not with it because we've been complaining about the same guys for years and they're
But-
still around and some of these guys are still making brutal errors, okay? But
He's accountable
again,
because
I'm not against making a coaching change. I'm just saying there's a bigger issue that needs to be cleaned up, everybody.
Yep.
Bigger
When-
issue.
my only last touch on that is that it is Max's second season. If this was his first last year, we always said give him time, give him a transfer window. He got that. Now I think he's got no more excuses. There's only so much you could do in the transfer market, but if you're telling me he had no say in bringing Paredes or sending out Cambiaso, I don't believe you for a second. So like some things he is accountable for.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. But this is a whole thing. It's not just always the coach.
No, like he's
these
stuck
guys
with
gotta
Sandro,
man
right?
up, and if he's not doing it, ultimately, he's victim based on the seat he's chosen because shit always goes downhill, but it starts at the top, and it's gonna start with him, okay? And it
Starts with
does.
him, too.
So he's gonna take the main blame and whatever. And you know what? Honestly, it's 2 years in. He's been feeding lines before in interviews when he didn't have the job, saying 6 months is all it should take to get your ideas through. Well, Max, you're well
Yeah,
beyond
came
that,
back to
so you
bite him.
should have had your ideas come through, is what it is. But
Mhm.
I'm not against a coaching change, but yesterday's game was set up for these players to win, and they failed miserably. Let's be honest here. That was set up to be a win. Nantes did nothing. Formation wasn't a problem. Setup wasn't a problem. The guys flat out couldn't get this team beat.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you guys would have changed yesterday?
In hindsight,
Yeah, like let's say player wise, because I
In
don't honestly I don't
hindsight-
think you did anything wrong yesterday.
Paredes should not be starting for this team.
Yeah, I
to,
didn't.
though.
Yeah,
I don't. No, and I told you.
Should have
Like, if
kept
you want to rest
Rovella.
Luca, yeah. No. I think it's if you want to rest Luca, do it in a game where it's not going to cost you European football. Like
I mean,
this
well,
was the
this
stupidest
This
time.
game
You
didn't
know the
cost us
second
European
leg.
football.
It might have.
Luca's gonna start the second leg.
Oh, you better,
Yeah.
fucking better. But it might be too late by then. Is what I'm saying.
No,
we could have
man,
won.
It's
3-0.
1-1. We didn't.
How do you know
lose.
that? How do you know that one
And
player
even
couldn't have made it
Paredes,
3-0
even
yesterday?
Paredes wasn't the reason this ended up in a draw. He made a mistake on that play. He should have just run up to the guy and fouled him. But regardless, even that is. But for me, Paredes can't start on this team.
Yes, I agree. It also doesn't help now Moretti's out, so like you have one less guy in the midfield to come in and
Of course.
Yeah,
do
so use him
something,
as
so
a
that hurts.
sub, but nothing more.
No, but you also he comes in for Fajoli instead of Kostic or even Paredes doesn't start. You pay Fajoli there. Like you have different options there. Also, I would have liked to see Illing come in instead of Kostic or Sule,
I
just because
I wanted to see him.
I like the way he plays. He's not afraid to attack defenders. He can run, he can move, he can play the ball. Like
Yeah,
I
he'll
think
take
it just
that
would have
one
given
on.
us a different dynamic up the flank. But other than that, like
That,
what?
yeah, this is saying something that wasn't
Yeah.
actually his best, and that says how
I don't
shitty he
know.
is.
And
I don't think there's a huge amount of changes that you could have really made.
Right,
We went over
no,
the
no.
starting lineup based on everybody's available. That's the
Yeah.
guys. I mean,
I think
it is
okay.
what it is. It's brutal. If
Based
you
on
guys
how
had to
that
choose,
first half, based on how the first half went, I didn't have an issue with the changes. In hindsight,
Mhm.
I would have brought Locatelli in 5
half.
minutes earlier, but the game didn't need that change.
Yes. You were dominating up until
Yeah.
Didn't need it.
So,
Again.
no, so he did nothing wrong yesterday in that sense. We can't
And
put it on
then,
him.
or there's
well,
this
he did
one too,
start
we know
MDS.
Omer.
And that's
just
all
Omar-
I'm saying.
That's
Is that,
Omar's
you know
story.
what?
That's all it is.
There's been a few games.
I love it.
There's
Don't
been
change.
several games this season where I've put it down to execution and these guys.
This was it.
This is also another one to chalk up to that list. Yes, you have a bunch that are in the max folder, but there's quite a few on the players folder too.
Mhm.
But when I see these guys show no grinta, that's where it fucking ends for me.
While
man.
we're playing at a full stadium.
Got to be 150%.
Yeah.
Pedin in goal. There were shouts that Szczesny needed to make the one stop he had to. I don't blame him. For that goal.
I
You
did
guys
bring
have
that up.
anything to weigh in on
What
that?
was he going to do?
No, I brought it up in our chat because I feel like he knew he had to come out. He did not, and he went low. I didn't like that, but I mean, I don't think Pereira could have done better, so I won't shit on him. I just think he could have done better. I think he could have came out more.
If it was Donnarumma, maybe, but I don't see anyone
Donnarumma
else
would've given
Sorry,
him the
man.
goal.
I will
saving
not
that.
put that on any keeper.
No, I didn't put it on him, but I think he maybe could have done something different. That's my
Well,
mistake.
Like
apparently-
a cartwhart how there to try and like cover.
Yeah, like you know how the hockey
Like, what
goalies
the
they
fuck's
just
he
throw
gonna
their
do?
legs up in the air. Like I expected that.
Kind of thing. Like what? Like what? I don't get it.
I think he came out late. That's all I'm saying, guys. I don't think it was the reason he scored. I just think the finish wasn't great. I think if he came out more, he could have covered more of his net.
I
Well,
mean,
I
that's
think
my
he came
thought.
out late because he was maybe thinking that Bremer could still
Bremer's
get
gonna
there
get
and
there.
recover.
Once
So
he saw that
it's
slip, though,
and
I
if
think
he comes out too far and then Bremer does recover, maybe they fucking, I don't know, man. It's a bang bang play.
yeah,
but-
no, it's a quick play, but
if
I'm not gonna blame
he
him.
comes out earlier, though, he can easily be chipped.
And
Or
that's
the
why
ball
Bremer.
plays-
This is what happens once Bremer slips. He's got to go to the net. He's not making that cut, so that means Szczesny's got to come out. That's how I saw it play out, but only after I replayed it. During that live
Right.
moment, you don't like it happens quick.
Well, you don't
But
expect it
again,
to fall.
this is not gonna change the game. I didn't think it would have.
I think
just
Ramos is
personally-
trying to fire things up here and just trying to get Luca set up there. It's
Oh,
all good.
I'm giving the
Striped
slight
cards, man of the match. So check out our gear. Obviously, I'm rocking the Del Piero there, Principino, Schmedium there on Lucci.
Oh,
If you guys, Ants even rock. Oh yeah, the old school, 1897 Zebra.
opinion. Watch your
Now,
beard there. You almost
Check
clipped
it out.
on-
It's in our merch
Touch on the
store.
neck.
It also helps support the channel. We thank you guys. Take a second, like the video while you're here. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. But guys, let's get into this. If you had to name man of the match for this one for Juve, who is it in your opinion? Anthony, who do you give your man of the match to?
Di Maria.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear.
Yep.
Luca,
Yeah.
want to give it
same.
to Tech?
Do it, you son of a bitch. Do it.
No, Di Maria was like I'm trying to think. Maybe Danilo didn't have a terrible game, but yeah, no, Di Maria was our standout player.
Yeah, it wasn't
There's
even
no one
close,
else.
man. He had like
I
3
got
shots on
Di
target.
Maria. Shout out for Rabiot from
Rabiot.
Jeremiah. I do think Rabiot
What?
was pretty hard though, but if I'm
Jeremiah,
okay, you know what? I'll just
get
say
off
it.
his-
A few of those instances where Rabiot where you need to get stuck in.
Yep.
And
Yep.
there's
Yeah,
a
he was
couple
soft.
opportunities that I would want a midfielder to just absolutely step into the thing and hit the damn ball, but again, no go. Chiesa gets a few shouts for man of the match. Guys, we got a shout for Fagioli, and in the watch along, there was a lot of people frustrated with Fagioli's play in the live watch along. How did you guys think Fagioli played in that game?
Not
And
one of his best games, in my opinion. I didn't think so. I don't know. He didn't do.
Yeah,
He didn't do
when
much.
When he got subbed off, I saw somebody put on the Matrix Twitter that that he
this ain't 2005.
like he was
come on.
upset. He was upset when he came
threw his
off.
shin pad or something.
Yeah, because he made a
And-
big mistake and he knew it.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's how I saw it.
Yeah,
If you
so
take that
thanks,
mistake
Luca.
out
There you
of
go.
the
That's what I was
equation,
gonna
though, I think he was pretty crucial to making
Yes.
Di Maria work
Yes, big
in
time.
how he was dropping off because that's
Mhm.
what he was doing. He was essentially he just kept an option for DeCilio on the right, and he also kept
Yep.
that D line back so that Di Maria could drop off
Yep,
and
100%.
have that room to work with. So in a in a sense, he did his job, and he did his job very well because Di Maria was very effective. He's everybody's man of the match. He's allowed that freedom because of Fagioli sacrificing himself.
Bingo.
Fair.
So
Fair enough.
to me, Fagioli did his job. It just sucks that his only mistake that game got turned on us. But I don't think he had a bad game by any means. He did his job. He did his job. We're going to get Storm the Barn. Everybody get your Storm the Barn questions in now. We do have some coming in we're going to get to right now. In my opinion, Gasperini is the right candidate.
Anthony's
Italian,
gonna log off
tactically
right now.
good, great with young players, doesn't need really high-profile players to get good results. Is he an ideal coach for next 3 years? I have said this for Gasperini for years. In my personal opinion,
Clown show.
I don't know because the expectations at Atalanta are far different than they are at Juventus, and I'm not so sure he's the right guy. And I think all his players are on the juice, and that's the only reason they do well, because when they leave Atalanta, they suck.
Except for Malinowski.
Last part was a joke, but honestly, I'm not sold on Gasperini, guys. I'm not.
Big fan of Bikram. You know, he's here every show. You know, big love for Bikram.
Big love for Bikram G.
Ask
Yes.
that question. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Me and Gasperini are not.
Is there anybody on here that would make the argument for Gasperini?
No.
Not. I mean,
No.
I'm not against him, but I don't love him. You know, like it's like when Pirlo got picked. Like I was like, okay, I see the plus side, but I also know the negative. I think, but that's not the conversation we're having.
I'm just saying that's
no. Gasperini. I mean,
at the bottom. Of
I
the
see what Bikram's trying to say is that he is.
Oh, look at Omer over here.
Yeah,
Omer.
I feel like Omar would argue, because for what the situation might be, guys, like if we are just stuck with young players and we need them all to be Italian, then maybe Gasperini is a good shout. But I still think, like Al said, he makes it work in his team, and then once they leave, they basically stink. So I don't know what the catch is.
I mean, if we're gonna bring Gasperini, might as well just keep Max at that point.
No.
So let's change the question
I'm
to
with
this.
you, Lucci.
Thanks,
Keep
Ant.
Max, bring Gasperini, and if it was between the two.
I'm keeping Max.
Really?
Finances aside, I think Gasperini, just because I don't want Max anymore. It's
I
like taking
think at
Biden
this
over
point,
Trump.
you
It's just
can't
because I don't want Trump.
You can't keep a coach though. Like,
We can keep Max over Gasperini.
well, yeah,
ridiculous.
you could, of course, you could. But if it was gun to your head and yet is
I'd say, I
between
guess.
making a change for Gasperini or keeping Max, I don't know if we can keep.
I would
Max.
even load the gun and hold it myself and still pick Max.
Do you like turn the chambers too, or do you just like load it and
It's
fire?
interesting when we
I'll
get
help
into
you.
the coaching change. It's funny. Everybody wants to change it. Then all of a sudden,
I'll
it's
prime
like,
it for you.
Come on. Like,
Dell's saying easy
for
gas.
real.
Easy on gas. Okay, so let's get to the next one. Michael Razzo coming in here. Remember when Allegri was telling me he could do a better job than Pirlo and Sarri? Just
don't
funny.
do
He's had
this.
more time and doing worse. Thoughts on the
I
clown?
love it.
Okay, let's go like
I
this.
love it.
I want to.
I hate this.
I think we can alter this question to something maybe.
Clownery.
So
that's the sport that Lou does on the weekends.
if
clownery.
Max had his team healthy, this is the first question I'm going to spin off of this one. If Max had his team healthy, and let's say there was no investigation in here, do we do much better than where we're at right now?
Quick fire answers. Come on.
No.
We're closer to Napoli in second place.
I'm with Anthony. Yeah.
Do
I
we
still think-
qualify
I
out
know.
of the Champions League group if he had everybody fit from the top of the go?
Oh
No.
I
Our
would say
style doesn't
barely.
work in Europe, man.
I still don't think this is a Champions League team.
I
I
think he
said that
could have
a
made.
couple
I think he
shows
could have
ago.
made second. I think
This
he
is
could have made it.
this is a Serie A team. I don't think we would have.
Interesting.
He would have
Now,
lost the
going
first
back
round,
to
but-
Pirlo's season, does Max do better with that team?
No.
And
No.
everything Pirlo had to
No.
endure.
No.
Ronaldo will be playing left wing back, for God's sakes.
It's
Yeah,
mostly
no.
the
Didn't
same
Ronaldo
players.
have
minus-
his best season under Max, though, out of all his years at
No.
Juve?
No. Pirlo's
under
season
Pirlo.
was his best. Or
Was it?
Sadi's season.
Was it Sadi or Pirlo?
Was it?
He
I
got
thought
MV
Max, he had the most
Well,
goals with
under-
Max.
He got top scorer with Sadi.
With Quadrado, it was under Pirlo. Those two were
No.
unstoppable. Yes.
Only two Quadrado assists amounted to Ronaldo goals.
but that season he had like 18
Yeah, all
in
those
total.
assists, that was with
I think
Pirlo.
he had 21 total under
Sorry.
Max.
It wasn't with Max. That's all that matters. Because that
I
first
think
year with
it
Max.
was.
No.
I think Ronaldo finished with 21. Anyways, somebody could check it, whatever. But
Tony,
anyways.
you're gonna go check that right now?
I'm working on it.
There we go. See. He's
So
quick.
you think
faster,
he
old
does?
man.
You think Max does worse in Pirlo's season with that team?
Yes, because there's so many new young players.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Interesting
Imagine
Storm the
Chiesa's
Barn
first
questions, the
season at
spin-offs
Juve
here. Let's
with
get to
Allegri.
another
Oh my
one.
God, we would have gotten Chiesa if it was Max there. I think.
Good point. Good point.
If we have to begin a full reset new project, who are 5 players we sell?
Sell, not let go free. Sell.
Jeez.
Well, the tough thing is, do we have 5? And that's
Okay.
that's the scary part.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
you'd
So
be
let's start.
selling Vlahovic, Chiesa,
No.
like
Let's-
Locatelli, Miretti, Fagioli. These are outside of that, you don't have a high
Realistically,
value.
Rovella.
hold on, Ant, go.
So the 2018-19, that's Max season. 21 goals in 31 games. This is Ronaldo, obviously.
Mhm.
The next season is
Saudi.
Saudi.
Yep.
He had 31 goals, so 21. And then the next season with Pirlo, he had 29 goals. So
God damn it.
Ooh.
Max got slapped.
There you go.
That was
Max
a
got
big
slapped there.
Okay, so back to this. If we're gonna go from front to back of players that actually have value, still on contract, we can sell. We could go through this list and be realistic here. So if you want to, I'm starting with Chesney. We could sell him.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
He's got value.
I mean, he
why do we
did
contract.
sell
something
5 players?
to make money, dog.
Chesney, Rugani.
Okay, what, 2 mil?
So we're,
And
so we're
again,
getting
I
rid of,
go back to my point at the start of this question. The 5 you will pick to sell will have 0 value and nobody's
I think
buying.
Woj has some value, but there's other guys you got to make that choice. Like, shit.
So we're getting rid of 10 players.
Chesney would have some value. Chesney
Chesney
would have a little
value.
bit of value.
Kostic, I
That's
think
a sale.
you might have to sell Kostic.
Rugani ain't
No.
nobody really gonna give you much. Kostic,
could-
you
I'd say
can maybe
0.
make a decent sale.
The young
I'd
guys might
say-
have some value.
I'd say you'd probably have to axe either Keane or Vlahovic.
It's not final on those guys that are coming back though. So Zakaria would be a sale. A McKinney
Zach
would be a sale.
Yeah.
So
Arthur,
those are some
Rovella.
guys you got to move.
And then it comes down to can we sell
yeah,
them? But
that's a tough question because we still have to see where the dust settles. Everybody,
And how much
very
money
very
you need
tough
to
here.
make.
What are the repercussions if we lose to Nantes next week? How disappointed will you guys be?
Liver
Well,
damage.
obviously we know the repercussions.
mental
because
breakdown.
It
How much
all
money
comes
do we
down
lose?
to Coppa Italia, a 2-leg tie against the Snakes to get into that final to win that to at least ensure Europa League next season. Yeah, we know the repercussions. I don't even want to talk about not getting the job done next week, so I'm not even going to go any further into that
Dare
right now,
you
to
for
be
bringing
honest.
that
You
up.
guys can discuss right now for a bit while I go to the next Storm the Barn.
I
What do you
mean,
guys think?
You're losing out on some money, that's for sure.
Yeah, because you don't make it to the next round. But
Right. And
It's
ticket sales
critical.
and
We
stuff.
have to go through.
Yes.
we have to win.
Correct.
Yeah,
We
we
have-
have to go through.
like,
we
yeah,
have to
that's-
get by Nantes.
Yes.
Indeed.
Like,
Like,
will I be
s-
disappointed? Like,
Yeah, you should be.
You should be.
Yeah,
Yeah, what's-
Why the hell
What-
would you be though?
would I be mad? Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I'd be
No,
more upset that my bet doesn't hit than
Ugh.
them actually losing.
Again,
So,
you guys
there
with
go.
your damn.
Oh my god, you guys stop
You
with
guys,
betting shit.
no
Now,
passion
listen,
for this. It's all
but
about
of course
money.
we're gonna
I'm
be
joking,
upset.
I'm joking.
Of course, I'm pissed about yesterday for Christ's sake
And
because
it was a draw.
what are we doing? What that's a draw that felt like a loss. You're at
Yeah.
home. We continue
Yep.
to miss the mark when we need to get the job done. So yeah,
But
it's
to
an
me,
absolute
so hang
choke.
on. To me,
The Omer
wait, hang
comment
on.
up.
All
Please.
season, everyone says this team stinks. We're not good enough. And then we do something like this, and everyone's like, "What are we doing?" I'm not surprised. Like, I'm not.
Yeah,
and
but
we
you're the guy-
we've stunk. Hang on, Luca. Can you let me finish a fucking point for like
No.
for once today?
No.
Shit.
No.
We've stunk in knockout matches for half a decade. So I'm not even surprised. Like, I don't even know why people are like, burn the whole place down. It's the day after. Like, we've been talking about this the day after knockout games for 4 years.
Sadly,
So I'm used to it.
sad but true.
That's so
Yeah.
accurate. God
Yep.
damn it.
Would I
Sadly,
be
true.
disappointed? Maybe a little bit. And I'm with Lucci. I'd be more disappointed in the money I lose on the bets, that the stupid
Maybe-
bets I'd make
maybe
on
don't
bets
bet on
actually going through.
stupidity.
Well, we're biased.
Go ahead,
you gotta
Luca.
show some love, dog. Go ahead.
Anyways,
let's
Luca,
hear it.
go on your point now that somebody's finished. Let's go.
I forgot what my point.
Amen.
Amazing how that happens.
I'm just messing with you guys.
Okay.
No, and because the thing is, yes, the team stinks, but you're the first one to say the other team stinks too. So pick one. That's my anger now. Like everyone, not everyone.
They're not mutually exclusive. They can both happen at the same time.
That is accurate.
So who stinks more?
I mean, they can both stink equally.
That's not true. Then it's true. Yesterday was a draw, so that's technically yeah.
So here's
doesn't-
Jeremiah
doesn't-
coming in, and this is a good little follow up to what Anthony's going with. If we're dealing with this, do
First time he
we
dissed
have
this
to
hashtag.
drop our expectations?
Yes, absolutely.
They're already pretty low.
Yeah.
So
That's why I put money on a Nantes win yesterday.
and you still lost.
Because I had
Why don't you
that's how
double
low
chance
my
that? Come on,
expectations are
man.
for Europe. They're
No, because
way
we actually-
out here.
Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna highlight this for everybody because I gave him shit for that bet yesterday. but
Yeah, don't bet on.
he actually
against-
covered it because he still had Juve to win. So,
But I didn't
anyways,
take a draw.
But both.
never
didn't
bet
pan
on your
out.
favorite team. That's rule number one. I
That's
never
rule
bet
number
on
one.
any teams I
Rule number
follow
two,
other than
don't
the
bet on-
Azzurri. Only team that I bet on at Euros, and I broke my rule and I won it. But I
Lots of
never
money.
bet on my teams.
That's
Now-
painful.
Should we drop expectation? I mean, I think that's happened naturally, and I'm
Mhm.
going to talk to everybody in the chat right now because you guys, we
Who are you
we always
talking
get
about?
hyped up and we get pumped up for these games, and you see the predictions and everything, and when we always break it down, it's the same things. You know, we're I think we're hopeful in our predictions and everything like that. We just eventually
Not me. snap
snap out of this, but the reality continues to set in, and it's highlighted in the fact that we've been mismanaged for how long now, and
Too
we've
long.
been struggling
years.
in Europe for how long now?
Too long.
5 years.
It continues to come back. We continue to get these
Mhm.
reality checks. So as far as the expectations, I think us as fans need to realize that this team is not what it was coming out of this decade of dominance. And that, yeah, the guys that are in charge, number one, you actually have one group that isn't even there right now. There's a management team that's not even there and a sporting director that's not there. The problem with that, because I do have a problem with that, because while I do have a problem with it, I also don't, in the sense that how are we going to get a sporting director when half of our candidates have jobs already right now?
Yeah,
That's
very
not going to get settled until the season's end, right?
Mhm.
How are we going to get guys working on deals currently right now when we don't even know what's going to come out of this investigation and these penalties? There's so much uncertainty right now that this is why I say, everybody, buckle up, strap on those seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride till season's end,
It's gonna be a
but we're not going to get the answers that we need until the dust settles, everybody. And that's the reality. But as far as the expectations go, as a fan, we'll always hope and we'll always give the guys the benefit of the doubt and hope that they snap out of this and they start playing. But
We're gonna spread our money out a little bit though. In the meantime,
the evidence is there.
And did you predict the loss yesterday?
It is what it is, guys. We
predicted
are,
us,
didn't
we
we?
have been,
That might have-
and we are still a large work in progress.
Yeah.
We can all make a claim that maybe the guy
No,
that's in
1-0,
charge of
good.
this project right now is not getting it done, but the players themselves have, I think, let themselves down grossly too, and it's all to be put together. And right now, in the summer, it's going to be up to finding the right guys that can put it together. What else is there left to say that we haven't tackled? Like
Like the video.
yeah. Like the video. Like the
Thanks.
video. Subscribe.
You
But
want pants
guys, we're not going anywhere one way or another. I mean, we're in this together. We're going to ride it out. And some fans out there, and I'm never going to tell anybody, and I always give people shit out there that try to tell fans, okay? Feels-
Oh Jesus!
He's not even here.
I
and
mean-
he's
I will
still
say
making me
this.
die of
I mean-
laughter.
I give
The
people
US will say
shit out there
otherwise.
on social media all the time for telling other fans how to feel, how to act, how to like. I'm so against that. There is no level of fandom, okay? You act, you feel however you feel, and that's fine. You have your opinions, that's great. Okay, I'm all for that.
That's true.
There is a point where I think some of us can be a little spoiled, and even myself at times, based on what we came out of from that decade of dominance and just expecting us to be at this crazy level. And I think sometimes our expectations are a little unrealistic with where we've come based on the mismanagement. We have to just realize that there's been some bad business for too many years for it to just be snapped out of immediately. Do we all feel that this team on paper is capable of much more? Yeah, I think they can be capable of much more, but I'm not so sure it's a large deal more. You know, I'm not, and that's what I was getting to on the show with Max and everything. I'm not so sure another guy comes in here, and if everybody's healthy from the start, maybe it's different for Max too. Try different things out earlier, get to a different point earlier, like have Pogba, who's a game breaker, actually play, but
Pogba.
Oh, don't get Lucci started.
Give that guy steroids and just start
it is
him
what
next
it is,
week.
man. It is
Like,
what it
I'll
is.
see-
But
I'll
it
see
is
you there,
nonetheless
Pogba.
a guy like if you took Pogba out of the equation and you signed somebody else in the summer, again, this is part of us, our mentality. And yes, I'm talking to you, Lucci, as a fan, because who the hell do you get in the summer that is on the pitch as quality as Pogba?
Anyone
with
on the
no
pitch
money?
would have helped at this point, man. At least they would have been there.
A player's best ability is
More
his
than Paredes?
availability.
But that wouldn't be a game breaker, and we would be in the
Probably not.
same mess we're in right now.
Just make
That
that
is
up.
my point.
Nope.
We can all sit here and say, oh, yeah, you know what? We shouldn't have signed Pogba, but guess what? Sturaro would have been great because he's available. Sturaro's not making a game change to Juve. Thomas
Maybe.
Rincon's not making a game change to Juve. We had zero
I mean,
money.
be
everybody.
realistic here, Al. You're comparing Pogba's 10 million to Rincon and Sturaro.
No, Lucci, let's be realistic. I'm challenging you to tell me a player who would have come in and had an impact that changes the season for us.
Okay, so then you got to compare
For
the
free.
money you're spending on Pogba compared to someone else. You can't just, let's compare Pogba and Rincon.
With zero sale finances, Lucci. So again, take that 10 mil salary. Tell me this game breaker at 10 mil that comes in.
He's not a game breaker if he's not playing. It doesn't matter.
Again, Lucci, give me a game breaker that comes in.
So you're telling me not keeping Rovella would have made a difference?
You're telling me Rovella has us qualified in the Champions League and higher than second place in Serie A.
Listen it this way. Take it this way. If you keep Rovella, and sure, you want to sign Pogba, that's fine. But you don't spend money on Paredes and you use that money to buy someone else. You have everyone available.
Take that 7 million on Paredes. Show me another game breaker for 7 mil.
I'm sure you could find someone.
A game breaker. I'd love to see this game breaker at 7 mil.
Maybe you keep Dybala. Maybe Luca's right.
Oh,
Holy
the same Dybala that you thrashed all last year. This is getting interesting.
I'm not saying I would have done it. I'm just saying
Stop it, man. We had no money.
You're delusional.
We had no money.
Pogba played 3/4 of the season, and you're
We
sticking up
had
for
no
$1
money.
million. Exactly. So spend that money on someone who's going to be
But
available.
don't act like Rovella's coming in to change the world, man. I wanted
would have
Rovella
made a
here
bigger
too,
difference
because
than
Rovella
Paredes. Plain and
shouldn't
simple.
have been
Plain
denied
and
his
simple.
chance to grow in terms of the project. But to put Rovella, what did you say earlier in this show, Lucci? You said don't put
Luca, stop
19-year-olds in positions where everything's on their shoulders. But here you are trying to feed me
That's
that
different.
Rovella's going to be the game breaker, and he's going to be the one that
I'm
is
not
this
saying-
guy
When did I say he
that
was going to be a
sets us
game
through.
breaker? I
It's
never said
not
that.
all in line. That's what I'm saying. It's not all in line, and it's way too easy to shit on management. But you have to realize their hands are tied, man. They had no fucking money. That's a reason you got Di Maria in there. It's a reason you got Pogba in there. Bottom line.
Well,
Di Maria's worked out.
yeah.
Basically,
Mourinho's
he's
been
worked out.
fine, but we
He's come out
had no
green, yeah, I'd
money.
say.
I will agree with you that Paredes shouldn't have come in and Rovella comes in. But if you're trying to tell me that Rovella grossly changes the outset of this season, I'm going to disagree with you. That's all. That's all.
And I want to get back to Michael's point here. Damn it, I lost it. Where'd it go? There it
How
is.
did you lose it? Oh,
Yeah, I found it. Juventus isn't a mid-table team. We are in second place with 15 points.
When's
Those
this
points are
decision
coming
coming?
back, by the way.
I'm just
They're-
saying.
yeah,
when does this
right
happen?
now it's.
I don't
looking,
think any of us think Juventus is in Serie A. We are not a mid-table team.
Yes.
I just don't think we're good enough system-wise, player-wise for Europe.
But his question
For
is,
City,
do you
I think we're fine.
accept it? That's the question.
I
I don't
based
accept
on
it. That's
the players that we have, yes, I accept that we are a mid-table team.
I'll never accept that.
Serie A top 4 team. We're not a
the
mid-
back of my jersey
So then,
upstairs.
so then
Second
no.
place. Those points are coming back. Those points are coming back. Anyways, the debate's amazing.
Sort of.
Lucci, I love you. Whatever. We can disagree. It's all good.
I just
Fabulous
think so.
debates there, Vito. Okay, I'm glad you guys love it. Everybody here, fight, fight, fight. Luca was getting fired up.
This is our group
Actually
chat,
didn't
basically.
interrupt, which was
This is
shocking.
exactly, yeah.
But it's
this is our
good
group
stuff.
chat.
It's good stuff. Listen, again, we can sit here and hindsight's 2020, but I don't see any other moves
My
we could
hindsight's
have done.
actually 19.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But just we need the freaking guy to be available. It's just that's what it,
I
it's
know.
simple.
I
Why don't
know,
we just
and that
inject
part-
him with
that part-
something and like
Sucks. But I don't see anything else we could
Patrick
have done
Mahomes could
that.
play a Super
Do you
Bowl with
not
one
think
ankle.
they would have if they could have done something differently? Like if they had money to splash on an actual sale rather than get
Sure,
the
but
freeze,
we don't have
do you
money.
not think they would have?
I think there was
And
was
but
more
who-
to it than just performance. You got to look at the marketing aspect too. Pogba with the 10, that's money coming in too. Guys, it's the Ronaldo effect in that sense. You got to look at sales and shit. Like, I think there's more to it than just his performances. I think that's a big part of
So
it.
even in your argument there, Luca, in terms of marketing, I still say that they didn't make that solely on a marketing standpoint. They literally, I don't think, had the money to splash on actual purchases.
And no one expected him to break his knee on the first 30 minutes of play. Like that's just the world
So
saying F
we
you to
had
Actually, a lot
to
of people
pay.
called
So
that.
the deal that got
Lucci
finalized
called
this
that.
season was Locatelli's, right? So
He
Loca's
did.
got finalized. Next season, is it next season that we finalize Vlahovic's? Vlahovic's gets finalized.
he was a 1 year. So this time last January. no?
Chiesa's got finalized what? Just previously?
Yes, because this was
So
2
end
years
of
ago.
last season is when Chiesa's got finalized. Like, so
We got
Chiesa
no money.
finalized, Locatelli finalized. We still have to finalize Vlahovic. We picked up Bremer in the offseason, which was probably the big splash because we had to deal with
Big
Delict, right?
splash. Yeah.
I don't see any other moves, guys.
That's what I'm saying. When Luca's saying we're going to get rid of all these players and bring in a whole bunch, like we're not.
I didn't
gonna
say
be able
we're
to
bringing
afford
in, I
anyone.
say
And I agree
have-
with you there, Lucci. That's why I said buckle up, everybody. It's gonna be a tough one. Anyways,
I'm not saying
we get pretty fired up, pretty heated here. We're gonna wrap things up there.
Normally it's
going
me
to,
causing it.
But geez,
we still recording? Oh my
is
God.
everybody looking forward to get back into it on Sunday? Because we're going to do it all over again on Sunday against Spezia.
I mean-
We have no Bremer for that one as he's suspended, but Bonucci is slated to be into the lineup for
Oh.
Spezia.
Oh,
Oh no.
good.
Oh,
grief.
take it.
Oh.
Take it easy, guys. Let's
Panucci
see.
Paredes.
See what happens. It's Spezia. The funny thing was, I was calling this in anticipation of a win against Nantes, but I said, hey, Spezia could be that banana peel game. What do you guys
It's-
think? Is it going to be a banana peel game on Sunday?
Oh yeah,
That's a must win.
100%.
Simple.
We
Yeah.
have
One
to
no-
win.
1-0 win. We parked the bus. It's going to be an Allegri one.
I
Typical
would-
Allegri 1-0
I
win.
agree. I would agree.
Yeah.
Not looking
Yeah.
forward to it, but I agree.
I think yesterday's game pissed off a lot of the boys. Hopefully,
But they haven't been able to react in that
Wait,
manner, so that's why we have
Who's
to deal with
suspended? Bremer?
Yeah,
it. Let's see. So, yeah, Bremer's out.
Yeah,
Luca's
So
got to be
Bonucci's
close.
slated to
He's got a
come
lot of
in.
yellows.
We should
Yeah, a
get
lot
some
from him.
rotation. Maybe Locatelli starts against
Rugani.
Spezia because he didn't start against Nantes. We'll
Hey,
see.
Lucci, Monday's a holiday for us, so if the game's that bad, we can just get
True,
wasted
you-
and sleep in on
Yes.
Monday.
I want to
On
leave you
Monday.
guys on one thing. Do you follow this up in the same setup
Family
that
day?
you saw against Nantes?
Stupid.
Sorry, can you
Huh?
repeat that?
Do
Yeah.
we
Like same
continue in the
lineup?
same setup we saw against Nantes?
As in
Bring
4-3-3.
Locatelli in.
More of that 4-3-3.
Yes,
Three
Bring
Um,
Locatelli
midfielders
in, though.
and your trident.
Yeah, I would.
Yes,
mm,
except Locatelli.
no, I don't think so.
Why not?
I think the
You don't have
trident.
Bremer.
Yeah, but the Trident, I don't think you don't need to attack Spezia. They're not the team that's defensive like Nantes. That they might actually come to us. So I think I'm with Ant. Go with I'd say go back to your
No,
3-5-2.
Spezia just canned their coach. They got a new coach coming.
Exactly. So anything should
So you
work.
don't know how they're gonna play, is what I'm getting
I
at.
still think they'll be shittier than Nantes, but
I don't know. Coaches don't usually make that drastic a change. Like he'll probably
just
keep
follow
him
up
same
what was
for
there
a little bit
before.
until he finds what he wants to do, right? But
in Serie A,
mean,
the 3-5-2 works.
they usually
so
have
far.
a stimulus though, like an energy about them, right? And that kind of changes. It won't be easy. We don't make anything easy for ourselves, but I expect the victory
Could've
for
been
sure. And
fucking
I would
Spal
continue 4-3-3.
Yes, I agree.
On that note, everybody, hey, ugly Thursday for Juve. We move on. We'll be back on the weekend. Match day live on Sunday. Watch along on Sunday. Post-match pod on Monday.
Poor bird.
As always, one day at a time, one game at a time. Fino alla fine, Forza Juve. Ciao tutti.